Hey guys, what's up? It's McGuy. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a tower defense game. This is going to be episode 1, hopefully, of a pretty long series, and it's going to be relatively advanced, but if you stick along and you watch the videos, you'll get it very, very quickly. So, let's start off. So, what is a tower defense game? To give you an example, this is Balloons Tower Defense. I'll leave the link in the description. It's actually really fun. So, this is just a screenshot I took, and so basically how it works is you have these balloons coming through this path, and they have to reach the end. If they reach the end, you lose a life. So what you do to combat this is you put these different monkeys, in this case, we'll probably use turrets, and they shoot out these darts that destroy the balloons. And when the balloons die, then obviously you don't lose a life. And the goal is to basically kill all the balloons and, kind of pop them in a sense. So it's a fairly simple game. Although making it in Scratch is going to be pretty fun, a little bit more complex than usual, but let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is try to create this path. So we're not going to do it traditionally with a sprite. Instead, we're going to do it with a pen tool. And so you guys will get some experience there because it sometimes is a little bit confusing. And so, yeah. So we're going to press X here to delete. We're going to create a new one. And we're just going to create a little dot. So we'll convert this to bitmap. And we can put it here. All right, not too important. So what we're going to do is, the way this is going to work is the entire game and the path is going to be made up of these different path points. So the way to explain this is like this. So imagine, right, let's zoom in for a second. Imagine you had a dot here, a dot here, a dot here, and a dot here. All we're doing is we're creating the pen tool and making it go in between these different points, and that will ultimately create the path. If that's a little bit confusing, don't worry. Just stick around and you'll get it very, very quickly. But yeah, so if we Command Z, just delete that for now, we can work on the path point. Okay, so how is this going to work? First of all, we need to define a block, and we're going to call this add path point. We're going to add an input X and a Y, which are the two coordinates of the path point. And what we want to do is create two lists. The first list is going to be called path points X. And the second one is going to be called path points Y. Now, as you may guess, this will keep track of the X coordinates of the path points, and this will keep track of the Y coordinates. So the first thing to do is to add the X to the path points X and add the Y to the path points Y. Now, when we kind of trigger the game by clicking the green flag, what we want to do is, first of all, just hide our original sprite. The next thing we want to do is go to our variables, delete everything inside of path points X and path points Y. So we have an empty slate, basically. And then we're going to actually use this function, or this block, whichever you want to call it. So what we're going to do is add these points. Just follow along for now. I've kind of made these up from before, but they work pretty well. So negative 240, 130. The next one is 100, 130. The next one is, let's see, 100, 0. Oops. And the final, and this is the last path point, is going to be negative 180, negative 180. So if we click the green flag, you can see these lists are populated with the values we passed in here. All right, once we have that, we're going to create a separate script to use the pen tool. So how is this going to work? So when flag is clicked, first off, we want to go to a position, and we're going to go to the position. For now, we'll actually remove this. We're going to include the pen extension into our project. So again, I just clicked down here, and we're going to erase all. We're going to set the pen color to this random color, which we're going to change eventually. We're going to set the pen size to 60. That works for now, obviously up for you guys to change. And then the next thing we want to do is create a private variable. When I say private variable, all I mean is that you click for the sprite only, so it's only going to be seen in this sprite. We're going to call this path point, or we'll call it current path point. And when the game starts, we want to set this current path point to 0. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to iterate through each item in the list, or each path point to simplify. So what we're going to do is say repeat the amount of path points we have, which is also the length of the X list. And then we're going to change our current path point by 1 to move on to the next path point. We're going to go to, and then we should just bring these in. And we're going to bring in this current path point variable. So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, let's go through each of these path points. Let's change the current path point by 1 so we get to this first value. Let's go to the x and the y of that, so negative 240 and 130 in this case. And then all we're doing from there is hitting pen down, which is in the pen tool. Oops. And then actually bring it in here. And then the next thing we want to do is pen up. And I think I can actually bring this to the top. We'll see how this works. Oops. I forget that what we need to do initially is go to the first position. So at the very start, we want to go to item 1 of x and item 1 of y, because right now it's just going to a random position where the sprite is located, and so that's why it's creating this weird thing. So if let's see, ooh, it's not working. Oh, I think I know the problem once again. We want to bring that in here. Let's see if this works. Have I put the correct, right, negative 240, 130, 100, 130, 100, 0, negative 180, negative 180. So we're going to the first x. There we go. This is going to be a problem. Do not make that same mistake. As you can see, I accidentally put this as path points x. There we go. So if we hide the variables and the lists, you can see that we have our path. Now, obviously, the color is wrong. I don't think the road should be red. So we're going to bring saturation down to 0 and make it some kind of gray. If we click the green flag, you can see we've actually created this. So if you could take a guess, the different path points here, there's one right here, there's one right here, there's one right here, and then the final one right here. And all we're doing is we're taking a pen tool, we're going through each item in the list and iterating through. So I think that's going to be it for this tutorial. We created the path. Next up is the balloons or the turrets, depending on which one seems fit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you very soon with an episode 2. Peace out.